Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Headspace Podcast. It's your boy HSR, Holden Stephan Roy. I forgot that I changed my name for a second. This is the show where we break down the new hip hop albums track by track, give you thoughts and opinions on every single song. It's been a couple of weeks since I recorded one of these. Needed a little breaksy poo. I'm back. I'm motivated. I'm super psyched to get into this. And so, yeah, we're going to do the intro, babe. You can skip that by checking the description of this video to see exactly where I'm going to start talking about each and every song. But that's the whole point of the show. I talk, then we can engage in the comments after. Share your thoughts with me. Let me know what you thought. Keep in mind, I'm not professional by any means. I just started doing this one day. I live in Montreal, as my hat says, so I'm pretty disconnected from many things involved in this culture. But what I am is a person who truly appreciates the art of this album creation process and just sheer brilliance of ideas and awesome people whose music I've heard across this channel. The more I listen to it, I find like the deeper I go into listening to these albums, the more I just freaking like everything. And that's been the most compellingly awesome part of this entire journey I think that I've been on. Like, this is episode something bonus episode, whatever. It's over 100, but it's just cool that I find I like things more than I did 2 years ago or so when I started. Anyway, I like to read my favorite comment on a video because we get these comments almost every day now. There's at least one comment, sometimes more, and that's just truly amazing. Even when we weren't putting out content, we were still getting comments and subscribers and stuff, and it just like touched my heart deeply to just see that this is something that is slowly growing. And so thank you, all of you who have been a part of it, and for those of you who are new and want to join and be a part of it, you're awesome too. But I caught a segment, my favorite comment of the week, and normally I try to go out of my way to pick some meaningful comment that looks cool and shows like the invigoratingness of the people, but sometimes I just get a comment that hits me in a way that my ego just gets stroked proper, and so that is what we're going to do now. Very recently, I had the pleasure of performing Eminem's Rap God in karaoke format without the lyrics at the Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal. When you get asked to perform at a festival, you don't complain about what you get asked to do, in my humble opinion. And I put that on this channel. You can check it out. And on that video, Mr. Scribble Official, who is freaking dope. We review one of his albums. I've been checking the dude on Instagram. He's freaking awesome. Check out Scribble. His music's fresh. Anyway, he said better than Eminem live, and I'm not kidding, LMAO. And I was like, damn, he's not kidding. I'm hoping he's really, really not kidding. But still, the fact that he even said that or had some inclination that it was that fresh to him, I thought that was super cool. And it wanted me to encourage you to check that out because I actually tried really hard on that shit. And I got a lot of it without a hype man. There's only so much you can do in that song. And Eminem does, in fact, perform it live with a hype man. So just throwing it out there. But yo, let me know what you thought. You can disagree with Scribble. You don't have to agree with him. I like him. I agree with him, though. That was cool. I don't know if I agree with him, but I really liked his comment. Either way, that's enough about that. We should get into the episode. Before we do, we're going to thank the patrons. Ismail Dempsey, Chris Prado, Coney Sparks, Jonathan Barnes, TJ Black Hurricane, Lindell Williams. They're freaking awesome. We'll touch on that at the end, but I want to thank them at the beginning while you're still watching. This is not the plug. The plug's at the end. Anyway, I'm going to get into the episode now. We're going to be talking about Currency's Hot August Nights. Holy crap, I think I forgot to say that at the beginning because it's been so long. Either way, YouTube likes it when you say it a lot. So again, for the YouTube bots, Currency's Hot August Nights album review, keywords, plug it again, Currency. Okay, now, this part of the show is kind of where I take an opportunity to express to you my familiarity with the artist and their music and just kind of whether I'm a fan or not and anything like that, because what I came to realize through the comment section is that everybody often has a different relationship with the artist that we cover. So there's going to be a long-time fans who remember him way back in the day when he went through, I think he was around Young Money and another crew that I think it was, C Murder's crew, I believe he was involved with back then. And like whether you were, a fan since all the way then, or you're more like me where you happen to accidentally review the Currency and Freddie Gibbs album and that may have been your first real exposure to him. And so that's why I think it's fair to bring it up, because coming into this album myself, I'm not gonna claim to be like a guy who knows a whole bunch about Currency and understands his career. Hell, I actually did a little bit of research, just looked up his history a bit, where he comes from, what labels he was under, just out of curiosity, and I realized how little I really know about the guy. However, I happen to really like the album that we did. I think it was Fetty was the album. I might be wrong, but it was really enjoyable to me. And I knew that he was in like this like sound and lyrical content that lately I've been attracted to. This grinding music where you can tell these are people who are accomplished and in kind of like subtler ways seek to almost impart wisdom throughout what otherwise looks like, I guess, to a first listen, some generic sounding stuff. Because some of it can be, no, I'm not saying currency, but in the overall genre, right? Some of it can come off sometimes a little bit like, okay. But then you hear just these little key things laced in where you realize these guys are legitimate. These guys are real. These guys are like synthetic, or not, sorry, these guys are not synthetic in any way. They are actually putting out true experiences on display, and it made me really come to appreciate it, mostly because I read a bunch of stuff and what they were saying just like linked up completely with so many other sources from so many different backgrounds and ideologies that there seems to be just this wise way to approach life. So when dudes spit that wise stuff, I really appreciate it. Anyway, that's kind of what I was expecting going into this album, to get some bars I was going to think were dope. I mean, sonically, I wasn't sure what I was going to expect because before we get into it, I want to just take a quick second to give a lot of kudos to Currency's work ethic. Do you realize how many actual albums this guy has just dropped in 2019 alone? I mean, I'm looking over here on the Spotify, right? And I was like, okay, so he has Hot August Nights. Then there's Fino Grigio, which was with Burner. And then you go back, Gran Turismo, which was with Static Selecta. And then you go back, there's Umbrella Symphony. And this is with, I guess, London Drugs and J-Worthy. And then you go back, and there's this 2009 album. And I'm like, holy crap, how many projects has Currency been on? And you start scrolling through, and then you realize, yeah, it was Fetty, 2018. And how many projects did he drop in 2018? There's like 5, 6 of them. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm a lazy person. Currency is putting in work. Like, I was really impressed, is I guess what I'm trying to convey. We're only in August, and he's already dropped like 5 projects. Or, yeah, 4 projects or whatever. No, 5 projects. That's freaking crazy. And that's amazing. And I think it's just a testament to what the grind can become when you're able to just produce such a wide volume. Clearly, you're in control of your career enough to just go, yo, Static Select, let's just make a project. Boom, bang out a bunch of tracks. Next one, good to go. Always on the hustle. Not worrying about, it just doesn't seem like he's worrying about what other people think. He's just worrying about the next move. And I just thought that was really cool, and I really appreciated that. And that almost inspires me to want to try harder and put in even more work, because the Currency can do it. Why the hell can't I put in more work and put out more stuff, you know? Anyway, so that's how I wanted to start this off. The album's called Hot August Nights. It's August. The nights have been hot, and I guess you're going to get the title. To me, before I heard the project, kind of invoked that maybe it was going to be more of, maybe not the densest subject matter, but kind of just like a little flow through his life as he goes through these hot August nights. Maybe more flossy, maybe more like, I was expecting more of like, not necessarily a celebratory tone, but just kind of him telling you some of the more easy things going on. Because, you know, August nights, it's summery. I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel miserable, especially when you look at this cover and you see the cool looking car in front of a burger place. I don't know. It seems like everyone's ready to chill. It's going to be good bumping music of some kind. I'm not really great at dissecting some of these titles and covers sometimes, so I'm going to gloss on from there. And, well, I must admit that I can talk a whole bunch.
Nobody tell you different. You must admit I am that nigga.
Alright, let me tell you about the first time I heard this project. So, I've got these crappy ass Logitech speakers. You might see them one day. They're in like the $70 to $80 range. Before purchasing these speakers, double check to make sure they got like the bass control. Because what ends up happening is I have to kind of like bury the subwoofer in blankets and crap so as to not piss off the neighbors who probably already don't like me for recording a bunch of crap in my apartment. So it sounded kind of fuzzy on my little crappy top speakers with fucking smothered subwoofer, and I kind of didn't really feel it at first. I went through the album, I gave it my first listen, I went to sleep, I woke up, I put on these Sonys, which, while they're not the greatest headphones in the world, if you have used them, they do let you hear a lot of the intricacies of the mixing and the beat to hear all the balancing in. I feel like if you're going to listen to a new album, especially in this day and age, and you're going to review it in some capacity, it's super important to make sure that your headphones can hear a bunch of stuff, like the little faded whatever's in the back. And if you don't have good headphones, I can tell you that it's a good purchase for your future if you're an audiophile of any kind and you enjoy music. Just ask for that instead of whatever else for Christmas, man. Get yourself some fresh headphones. It's dope. Anyway, what's your favorite headphone brand? Put that in the comments. I'd be hella curious. We got to get some more headphones in a couple of months in that Black Friday season. So what is your opinion on the headphone that Behind That Suit should be having when we get multiple pairs up in here so we can do more group reaction-y type stuff? Anyway, this track is cool. It comes in, and the first thing when I heard it with the nicer headphones was how rich and full the beat really is in that kind of vibey way. Like, without admitting a lot, it has the whole perfect ambiance. You can just picture yourself out in a cool, maybe darker park-like area. This shit's just kind of bumping and playing in your headphones. You got a little thing on fire that you're inhaling, and it has that kind of a vibe just flowing in. And it hit me in like that kind of frame of music. And so I would recommend, maybe if you partake in that type of product, to engage in that in terms of getting into the headspace to really just coast to this project, or at least expect that kind of a coasting element to it. The song's got a little intro, keep the E in it, Chevy's on switch, we smoking weed in it, laughing in our pictures, we want to talk about it, didn't live it. It's kind of, I guess, a little like stamp at the beginning, we just chilling, we enjoying life, and we also putting out the real. So in a sense, it's kind of what I expected from hearing the title kind of re-put into this little intro before he comes in, and he's kind of bragging. I must admit, I'm that. And, don't let anybody tell you different. And he repeats it, and he just kind of chants it. And you know what I like about the way his delivery goes is he's super, like, laid back and not flossy. Like, some dudes, and I would say I include myself in this, go out of their way to, like, try to be a little more eccentric and super tight and, like, flowy and melodic and all kinds of different things to experiment with it. Whereas this guy is selling confidence with fucking laid back. It just oozes this laid back, confident flows. I guess what I'm trying to convey. I lack better words. And I thought it was really awesome. I thought it was a really cool hook. And again, at first when I heard it, I'm like, okay, whatever. But then I could just see myself sitting there, like at work, doing some whatevers. I must admit, I don't say the word, but I would sub it in with another word and then just flow with it. Like, I must admit, I'm that person, like just flow it like that. And it has that element, just that hook, like, believe in yourself, have some confidence, and be able to admit to yourself to have the confidence to achieve and all that stuff. But I also have to say, because it'll a preface, don't gloat yourself up to being fake and whatnot. It's not talking about being fake. It's talking about being confident and understanding what you're at, is what I took from it. Kind of flows through in the chorus, the verse, and a lot of these are kind of very shorter songs. So this is maybe the second longest song on this little track, with 3 minutes and 2 seconds. So he comes in and he's just kind of flossy, like, get in my car, rev my engine, let him hear it, I stay in it, I got homies in prison, I think of them when I be dipping. And I like the fact that he brings that up, because at the top level it's kind of whatever, but if you look into the specific language, what he's really conveying is, in his position of leadership and authority, he's considering maybe people who have taken sacrifices or hits or in bad circumstances, and he's remembering, in a sense, where he's come from and the people who absolutely need it most. So as he's maybe prospering, he's letting you know not to forget that there are other people who you should not be forgetting about simply because your life is advancing. That level of humility I found really dope. See, I told you there would be cool lessons up in this. Then he flows down and he's got a girl with her. Some other girls come through and ask for pictures. She's cool with it. And then he's got homies who do some bad stuff, some pimping and killing and whatnot. And he takes them on the road with them to show them how to get these legal millions. Then I show them they could get it. And then he goes, I must admit, I'm that guy. And the way that the verse flows back into the chorus is almost like it's just the next line, keeping the narrative done. And I've come to really like those types of choruses really recently. So kudos, Currency, if you do watch this, for the fresh-ass segue back into your hook. But the fact that he's saying, I take guys who do some dangerous things, and specifying, in a flossy way, I surround myself with the type of people who don't fuck with me, but simultaneously saying, I teach these people how to achieve self-sufficiency and sustainability in their entire lives. That's amazing. That's literally a dude going back into maybe where he comes from a little bit, now that he's got this power and position to accomplish some things, and he takes the time to educate others and show them how the game works, as opposed to being an egocentric asshole who claims to do it all on his own. I want to listen to this guy. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I want to listen to, because that's how I believe it's supposed to be when you're trying to build, regardless to what you're doing. It doesn't really matter if you make a video game or you have a distribution network of maybe some illicit substances. Fundamentally, teamwork is essential. Flows on in the second verse, and I like the fact that he goes, no identity crisis, no switching images. I've been the same Stone G since I stepped in this bitch. Now I'm triple OG, I got my membership. So he's just flowing, right? Switching images, stepped in this bitch, got my membership. So rhymes proper, he's doing it well. It's not hyper complicated, but it sounds super fresh, laid back, flowing, all that. But what he's saying again is what's attracting me to the verse is simply that he keeps it real. This is who he is. And I respect that. I know a lot of people may not, but like, I try to keep it real. I might grow and evolve and change a little bit over time, but fundamentally, I want to be the same person today that I am in a decade in terms of how y'all see me in my core integrity. Maybe wiser. I would like to be wiser and richer in 10 years. But I like that about this song, and it was really cool. So the fact that he's coming in and saying he's the dude, but he's the dude and laying down a little bit what the integrity of the situation looks like, commendable. Very cool. And it makes me really appreciate how there is this network of people who acquire the knowledge relevant to have success, and they're willing to share it. And that's amazing. And if you have knowledge that's powerful and can help your community, be like Currency and share that shit. I digress. I really enjoyed the song. I gave it a 4.25 on 5. It's pretty dope. On that note, it may look like my eyes closed, but they're not. It's just that these glasses have bad reflections and my other ones with the good reflections broke, so that's what it is. Eyes closed. Allow me to be clear. I don't know if this is hyperbole or if this was truth or not, but I'm pretty sure because he said he lived it, it's real. Roll this motherfucker with my eyes closed. If you can do that with your eyes closed, dude, first of all, I would love to see a video of it. Like, I just really would. I mean, I suppose I can probably find a video of that, but that's really cool. Just because it's such a challenging task to accomplish, that to do it with your eyes closed, and then, you know, to flip it, just cleverness, right? So I'm trading on the court, eyes closed. Watch me roll this motherfucker with my eyes closed. You know, you clearly he's talking about rolling a blunt or whatever. But then you have paper that you're rolling in that situation. So when he goes too much paper to full, still getting more, he takes the juxtaposition of the weed bar and he flips that crap into, oh crap, maybe he's rolling up money rolls or whatever. Watch me roll this motherfucker with my eyes closed. And then it just kind of adds to it. Like, this is almost all routine and he's flowing through it. I'm like, that's some clever stuff to me. I really enjoyed that. I mean, nobody annotated this on Genius or anything. It's just what popped into my head. I thought it was super freaking cool. So he kind of flexes here, which I think is cool. With Currency's work ethic, there's no doubt that he's doing pretty well for himself. And I suppose with all the effort he's put in this year, he's probably having some days where it's like it's 3 a.m. and she's calling to pull up and smoke. He's trying to fuck. But Currency teaches you a little Mac here, right? Because the one thing you can do when a girl wants you is to be eager. If you act eager, she's going to withdraw her desire a little bit. Can't explain it, but it's weird like that. Obviously, there's exceptions, but the wiser move is to play it off cool like you don't know, which is what Currency chooses to do. And then he proves that preparation and wisdom is another smart choice, and I was very proud of him for this moment. And I'm not saying this to be like facetious. I'm trying to be a little entertaining with my tone of voice, but for real, when he goes, I rolled for, lit one up when she came through the door, I'm like, yo, I think Currency and I understand each other on how to play this game of courting, because I can tell you one thing. The amount of times I've been at places where dudes have a copious amount of product available, I'm talking like maybe 2-3 OZs at the party, but not a single person has a paper. it's unfathomable to me how many times that seems to occur, and yet nobody ends up getting papers. And you know what's sometimes hard to get in Montreal at 2 a.m? Some papers. So all I'm saying is, by having it pre-rolled, you're doing a couple of things. You're telling the girl that you're prepared, so you got it all ready to go at her convenience, because maybe she wants to floss and go through some rolling or whatever. But to me, it's like I'm saving the time. I happen to have you sit there and watch me put this together. This is stuff that cannot be done. But then you just keep a sack around in case she wants to floss, because sometimes a girl wants to roll on herself. And you go through that, and then, spark one up when she comes in. Let her know you are so important, I just had to share this with you. That's just like panty dropping shit right there. I don't know. You can let me contradict me if this doesn't work for you, or if you're a lady and you think I'm wrong. That's cool. But then he reinforces the class of his life by saying she looks around and sees that everything's nice. That's the part where me and Currency differ, and you kind of have to be okay with some ghetto stuff in my life because of where I'm at economically. I passed that and told her to keep it. I got hella reefer. Oof. Do you see what he did there? He's flossing. He has a little blunt. Just hands her a blunt or whatever. Just lets her have the rest of it. He doesn't bother, because if he wants more, he can just spark up a new one. Oof. I don't know, man. I'm just impressed. I feel like everybody here should be taking notes on how fly this verse gets laid out. Anyway, this ain't a strip club. This my studio house. Little mama, I'm gonna bring you around if you're really down. Bring you to my real crib in a little while. I got a boss bitch counting in there right now. She could show you how she could put it down. So he's on top of that. Got a main girl who can train the next chick on how to please him. He never said he runs the city, but he holds it down. I like this track because there's this sense of... Something that bothers me a lot in hip-hop is when anybody claims to be best that is not best. If you are to be best at something, be best. Because if you're not best, then you can be great. Great is pretty vague. There's lots of people who can be great. You can be awesome. You can be good. You can be talented. You can be of the city. You can hold your city down and show love, loyalty, and respect. But if I have Currency come through and he were to claim I'm the best, a lot of people will have maybe an issue with that statement. Currency is freaking fantastically talented. I'm blown away by his actual lyricism and his ability to put these tracks together. It's so cool to listen to. And he's not saying he's the best, which makes me believe him and like him a lot more. He's saying, I don't run the city. Other people probably do that shit. They have it held down. But I respect where I'm from, and I do my part, and I hold it up with integrity. That's a guy like you can aspire to be like, a realistic person. Respect. Then the chorus comes back in, and then the second verse kicks in, and still some kind of flossing. I kind of like when he goes, you can bring your friends, just don't bring no fucking men. I got a palace, I got money in my ear. You get the sense that he probably has some pretty fun parties full of lots of ladies. Either way, I thought this track was equally as good as the last one. It kind of like is something I could see myself throwing on in a certain kind of vibe, especially in a more summery environment of just, trying to get a certain little vibe going with some people, and then you get what I'm trying to say. So I give it a 4.25, and I really kind of dig the overall feel of this project so far. And then after he's flossing with his eyes closed, he opens his eyes and he caught her looking.
I just work your advance. We just making money. You just dressing bummy. Thinking that you look.
I can't say that lyrically I find this one more enthralling, but the overall sound of this track, I just feel like it took the vibe with the snaps and everything that it has going on here, and it just like upped the ante from the last two tracks. Like it took it a step up. On the other hand, we have hit the shortest song on the album with a straight 2 minutes, and I kind of like what he's doing here. It makes me wonder, just in the macro strategy of creating albums, is it better to make a bunch of really short songs and throw them out throughout a year on multiple projects and get the actual cash flow to establish a point where you can take your time and do what you want? Or is it better to just take your time and do what you want? I don't know. I feel like what Currency's doing here seems to be the grind that most of us on this indie side should be taking. So I don't know if I'm going to fully ever embrace something like that in my life. But, like, it's an interesting point of view, and I really respect what he's doing here. I mean, I like the 5-minute songs. I like the long ones. But if you're going to come in with a little snippet, make it fresh like this, There's not a whole lot going on. He pulls up at the car, caught the girl looking. It's fine. My favorite lyric in the whole track is, lighting up drugs, I don't really fuck with clubs. Never really fuck with clubs. And that's cool because I can kind of relate more to that world. I don't really like alcohol, and I don't really like clubs because there's a lot of drunk people usually and other stuff going on. Certain types of clubs are super fun. Like, I'm just saying, there are certain club environments that are cool, but like personally, I'd rather go to a loft party where people can maybe light things on fire inside of it than there's no alcohol even than to go to a club. That's just me. He flows through this verse and he keeps it almost feels hyper in his delivery and everything's real cool. He gives a little shout out to 2 Chainz. But ultimately, I don't have a lot more to really comment on the lyrics of this track. It's another flossy, fun through song. It's almost like you can kind of picture the first track as he's feeling himself. The second track in my little movie I'm creating in my head, he's kind of getting ready to go out. Now he's getting out there and he caught the girl looking. This is now the night's moving along. He's progressing. It's fun. I give it a 4.35 on 5. I don't want to waste your time, so you know it that I don't want to waste your time because I just said that. So no, it's the next song.
Even 25, she just 21. She said she got a grown mind. Been on.
So in this case, there's more lines I find interesting, and lyrically I like his flow a lot more. But I feel like the beat just didn't hit me as much, and this might be my least favorite track on the album. With that being said, because sometimes it can sound negative, the idea here is just that compared to the other tracks on this project, all things considered, the lowest point of this album is still pretty freaking high on my standards. So spoiler alert, I get this a 4.15 on 5. And that's mostly because the hook I didn't really feel it as much in the way he delivered it. But the idea of this track is he's paid and everybody knows it. You're broke, people know it, he's got it, you don't got it, and whatever. He's just set up. Fundamentally, I don't have a problem with this kind of song if the guys are legit and people aren't going too nuts on our flossing. And I really think that if we just consider the flossing he has done from a materialistic standpoint, it's all within the means of what he's clearly got on paper making. It doesn't sound like too ridiculously fake, where some people preach these lifestyles where you're like, nah, even like guys like Nick Cage can't afford that crap, so how are you affording that crap? Anyway, I like when he goes, I don't talk about it, I be going for it, and you touch talking shit and you can't afford it. And it's that kind of like thinking, right? So if very successful people say stuff like that, the hope is over time people will start to catch on. The quick version of this is actions speak louder than words. That's how you know it's a legitimate thing, because there's like a regular ass expression to describe the sentiment here. And then when it comes down to plans and accomplishments, like say what you want about me and my success or whatever, but at the end of the day I come back time and time again and I just make this stuff and I try to advance my knowledge, I try to understand more, and then one day I'll be able to afford whatever I can afford, and I can do what I can do, and I create the accolades in my life in the same way that he does. I don't tell you what those accolades will be. I'm just gonna go do stuff, and one day you'll see stuff. And I think that's a smarter way to live, that's in line with the wise words of dudes like Robert Greene or I don't know, Mr. Dave Covey and other types. You know, all the really like guys who've kind of written about personality and how to achieve greatness all kind of say the same thing. So when you see it, you know it. I like when he goes, leave a fortune for my son, that's what I'm living for, because it shows that yes, he is interested in the money chase, but he shows a different motivation for the money chase, because the money chase isn't inherently wrong. Like the Bible verse that everyone misquotes is, for the love of money is the root of all evil, not money is the root of all evil. It's kind of cutting out for the love of, which is a really context-changing part of that expression. So the fact is, if you're trying to acquire money within your life to create generational wealth to give to your child so that they can have a fighting chance in a corrupt capitalist system, that's noble. That's probably something a lot of people should probably be doing. Whereas if you're trying to just make a bunch of banks so you can floss, I don't know if I'm feeling like I should be supporting you by giving you my bank. Whereas, you know what? I can admire a guy who's trying to set an example for other people to follow. But the fact that he takes the time to say, yeah, I got all this, but really it's about making sure that my family is taken care of. Anyway, then he gets girls and whatnot, and then he just kind of like ends the track a little bit. And I really liked it. I really thought it was cool. I don't have a lot more to comment on it. It was, I like when he I think this is the one where he goes, I got 50 fucking cars, I'm a hoarder. I thought that was funny, in a sense. I don't know if cars are a wise economic move, but I think it is kind of cool when people are so passionate about something that they can ultimately acquire, like, crazy collections of cars. Like, it's probably feasible to get a decent amount of, like, cars if you're thrifty with it and you have that kind of wealth going on in your life. I don't know enough about this though, so I may just be talking on my ass. Either way, I thought it was cool. I want a diamond Tesla. I want a Tesla. Just get me a Tesla. Currency, if you're feeling altruistic watching this, if you happen to, you can buy me a Tesla. That would be freaking fresh. Even the cheapest ass, most stock option basic one. Either way, I really like this track, but I gave it a 4.15 like I said. So, like, I like it, but I like it less than the other ones. And either way, my attitude changes completely again as we talk about how I'm going to give on the next song another score.
I'm on my dollar hunt. I grind and then I stunt. Don't live outside my...
By far, this is the absolute best beat on the album, in my humble opinion. I forgot to mention, all the beats are produced by Nard B, from what I could tell. And so this would be this person's collaborative artist that Currency messed with. And you hear the trench work in the beginning of all of them. This one, you hear the Nard B tag. And the beat here, I don't know exactly what it is. It's also the longest song, but I feel like the beat is just fucking alive. It's just... there's something about the energy that just almost picks me up in a way where I could see myself throwing this song on. I could see myself, like, cycling down the street just being like, Ferraris and boats like we run the coast, diamonds and gold, money and hoes. You know, I would do that. I'm that kind of person. But don't get me wrong, you may not know this, but a huge segment of the group that listens to this kind of music is middle-class white people, because we want to grind too. And, well, let's be real, who the fuck makes grind music for middle-class white people? We don't got that. So this is the closest thing we got when we want to feel some grind stuff, and I'll feel it here, like, you know, chasing your dreams, stay on the go, another score, audio dope, we never close. And just the idea that, like, we got to keep chasing, we got to keep going, there's always something more to do, there's always something else to produce. And look, we already talked about how many albums this guy's dropped just in the last year. It fucking blows my mind to look at that number. So he's completely legit with this, and I think it's super freaking cool. And then he kind of flows in with another verse. Slide in this bitch, all my rich, don't trip. Rest in peace, Nip. I let my day chin twist. Can't believe I even have to say that shit. Damn, that type fucked up while I rolled the next one up. Think about my homie fam and how I wish the best for them. And it is a lot sad that anybody has to say rest in peace Nip, because his death is a seriously sad tragedy. And the more I learned about the man behind that is Nipsey Hussle, the more it's like one of the best dudes that were out there for the potential of a better future was just taken from us, regardless of his musical quality. For the record, I fucking love Victory Lap, because I had reviewed that album before. And I don't know, man. I just felt sad. Like, I feel a sadness when I think about it. I don't feel like I'm 100% connected the way other people are. Like, I don't think I'm going to be throwing out rest in peace Nip things around personally, except for when I bring it up in, like, a moment like this. But it is something that's messed up when you think about it, that we have to be at a point where he's gone, and it was just whack the way it went down. When you hear the story, just how aimless it was, it's just sad, you know. Anyway, and then it's just like he kind of puts it out, like, in light of how his grind and in the spirit of almost his grind, I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do. I train hard in the off season, and when it's game time, I'll make it look easy. We in this shit to win the championship, street mansion, bitch, like ain't no lacking slick. We goes after it. And this is something I can relate to, because sometimes you take time out of the, like, public eye. Like, for myself, I am a local rapper in Montreal, and from 2012 to about 2015, 16, I tried to perform. I really pushed that grind, but I was old, and let me tell you, if you're old, go on the internet, you'll actually get audiences and stuff. It's smart. But in this time, almost every day for, like, the last 7 years, I've been putting work into stuff. And not everybody knows what's going on with it. To me, it's been the off season. And so when game time comes, I can start off an episode like this and say, I performed Rap God at a freaking festival in Montreal. And that's kind of cool. But you have to be prepared for that. Like, I couldn't have done that if I hadn't been grinding and putting in work to make it look easy. It's not. But I respect the fact that he's telling you that in order to accomplish the cool things in your life, you've got to train, which is something that I can personally relate to. I mean, even just doing these podcasts, go look at the work ethic of this channel. It is just, I don't have to worry. You can just go look at the amount of volume of work we've done and watch how we've gotten better over time. That's all there. So it's just relatable. And I don't know. It's a good track, man. I think it's really fun to listen to, and I don't have a lot more to say about it. It kind of just sells the grind in one of the most fun tracks for me to listen to on this album. I give it a 4.5 on 5, and then we can flow into the next one, which is called Never Had, in which case I can say I've never had the autonomy to just chase my dreams fully, so I'll build that day by day.
5 minutes and she shot her shot like the gun range. I respected how she came.
Can we just appreciate the fact that he has this lyric in this track? My little brother fucked your bitch just cause you were lame. Like, it's not even like him. He's like, I didn't even have to bother with it. My little brother can just smash your girl because you're that lame. That just feels like it's worse. Like, it's like, you're so lame, my little brother. I don't know. I think about my little brother because my little brother's like 3 years younger than me. And I feel like that would be like, in a sense, kind of an insult of sorts. Like, yo, you're so... Anyway, you get the point. This track's cool. And I like the way he's going, acting like that ain't never had. So when you live, he's living life in a way, I take it, where he, even if he has stuff today, it's like I said earlier, how he kind of remembers where he comes from. And I don't know if and when he had, maybe he always had, but he's trying to approach life with the hunger and the thirst of a person who has nothing and has never had anything and is just out to get everything, because that's how you achieve that next level stuff. And then it's, again, super kind of flossy. He meets some girl, she seems cool, and then it just kind of ends. And to me, there's not like a whole bunch more for me to comment on in this track. He just fly, like, lay in the frame on that Chevrolet, we ain't playing. That's y'all small timers chump change. Y'all walked off your bitch for 5 minutes and she shot her shot like a gun range. I respected how she came. Cleverness mixing off the guns with the sex lines right here, because came can be each of these things in this purpose. I introduced myself using my birth name. He's classy. He's moving in on a more personal level. I have a lot to say about this stuff. It flows well. It rhymes well. It's super swell to listen to. Empathetically, I don't care that much about it. I like this one still. I enjoyed the sound of it. He says like jet lag a bunch in the ad-libs at the end, which I thought was clever because of all the bars related to traveling he's got. And the fact that he's able to live this luxurious life is pretty cool. And I like the fact that he's able to be at that place where he has these kinds of wins, because I bet if you look back and watch it over time, that's got to be an interesting ass story I'm going to get on one day. So I gave it a 4.25. And then, so right now, there's one more track for us to talk about, and it's called Right Now.
Yeah, unrecognizable by folks with lots of dope. You in another bracket.
I appreciate the women in this video and how they just like twerk and whatnot as he just like stands there casually, like honestly, like he doesn't care that there is a gorgeous half-naked lady. Like, it's so regular. He's so nonchalant about it. I enjoyed the video though. It's kind of, it's very typical, and like there's nothing super crazy to it in my opinion, except that I thought the girls' asses were lovely, but that's about it. It's a cool video. It's fine. I mean, but it worked with the song, I thought. In terms of the hook and whatnot, it's got a fly hook, like 30 cars front the house. I'm about to cop a new one right now. Super bad bitch on the couch, about to knock a new one right now. Bring you to the spot, try you out. Both of y'all, show me what you about. So you got a new girl, got the old girl. You just about to, throw it down. Regular day. Oh, I got 30 cars, buy a new one. I'm at this point of success, wealth. Right now, my life is great. So this is almost like, if we think about it, his whole world right now seems to be this conquest of almost like he's probably performing a bunch, meeting crazy girls, having a great time, and life seems pretty cool for him. One of my favorite parts of this one was everything exclusive. Wait, who that is? Don't let that through here. I never seen that kid. Unrecognizable, but first with lots of dope. You win another bracket. You sit at the kiddie table when you file your taxes. And I like that a lot, because as far as flossing about being wealth, if you're going to bring in tax brackets and make people think about income taxes in that kind of world, and the fact that you're even implying that you deal with your taxes and you file them, that's fucking cool. Like, here we have a rapper paying his taxes properly. Crazy shit. Like, you just don't get that a lot in my experiences. So that's amazing stuff to teach people. That is important. But the idea that, Other people make excuses. They come through, try to ride your coattails to success. And then if you don't know that person, don't affiliate with them. They're just there for whatever. You're not in the same league. You can't affiliate. And I really enjoyed that track. And like, it's another one verser. Most of the tracks on this album are one verser. I think 2 of them had 2 verses, but I liked it. It kind of was another little snippet, and it ends in such a way where you feel like, damn, man, Currency's doing well, but like you're happy for him because he's taught you a couple things along the way. And I gave this another 4.25 on 5. And I guess that brings us to the end of this album review. So while talking about Currency's Hot August Nights, I gave the album a 4.285 on 5. This album to me is a short little EP snippet thing. Throw it on at a party. Maybe like if you're taking a ride with a girl and you've got a couple things rolled up and you're going to have a good time, I would like play this through. It sets that kind of a vibe to me where it's chilled, it's laid back. The instrumentals are enjoyable. The way he raps is kind of like you can just listen to it because he's got this cool smooth voice, but you can also really focus in and get a couple of really smart bars, some flossy bars, and he's very creative, as I tried to point out throughout this review. Overall, I like it, and if you're into that more street grindy stuff, I recommend the Currency album here that we listened to today. So thank y'all for watching this. This does bring us to the end of the episode. I appreciate you being here with me, and I would love to hear any comments you have, any thoughts that you have. If you like this project, what are the Currency albums you'd like to see us cover? Because it's entirely possible we do that too. What albums are you excited for coming out this year that you want to see us cover? Because usually I'm with Chris, but he's not. He texted, a little loafer. He's not coming till later on, so I said, screw it, we're getting this one done now. Anyway, thank y'all. And if you do like this, you can subscribe to the channel for more reviews. We're getting back into the grind of regular, popping off a bunch a week. You can like the video if you did like it, and you can leave a comment. Like I said, I'll answer you. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Conley Sparks, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, Jonathan Barnes, and Chris Prado. They're awesome. They support what we do. They helped us get a new camera, and they allow us to kind of move forward. We're going to be able to get a website actually because of the patrons, so they don't even know this yet, but they're going to be paying for our website so that we can kind of advance and get to the next level. So thank you, patrons, for supporting Squarespace in the near future. That's really amazing, and it's going to help us do a lot. So if you want to help us out for $1 a month or more, you can do that, and that would be super fresh of you. But if you do get to right tier, you can ask us to review albums. So basically, you'll get an album review request that we have to do every 3 months, plus a little bonus one when you sign up. So this weekend, we are doing Jonathan Barnes. No, is it? Yeah, I think it's Jonathan Barnes' next album review. And yeah, it's his turn. And then in 3 more weeks or so, it'll be someone new. In fact, patrons will get your renewal schedule soon if you watch this. So thank y'all for being here with us. It totally means the world. I make music myself, as I mentioned kind of briefly throughout this. You can check that in the description below. I'll have an album dropping in a month or 2. So I look forward to hearing about your feedback and anything you want to say to me. And yeah, reach out. Peace.